Welcome to the Ben Mulroney Show on this Tuesday, August 19th. I hope everybody is enjoying a great start to their Tuesday. I really appreciate you joining us here on the show and appreciate you joining us wherever you find us. You know, we are not just a radio show. We're also a streaming show, and we're a podcast, and we're a YouTube channel, and we are also all over social media, including Instagram at Ben Mulroney Show. And that's where you can find, look, you may not have a lot of time during your day to watch or listen to the entire show, but you may have a minute or two to watch one of the posts that we put on Instagram. And that's where you can test drive us, right? Maybe you just want to get a feel for the show, see if it's of your liking. And if it is, follow us, like us, share the show with as many people as you can. That's how we're going to grow this thing. So thank you very much for your time, your attention, and your passionate resolve to be part of the Ben Mulroney Show community. Look, it was about a week ago that Tennis Canada was riding as high as they've ridden in a very long time, with a star being born on Canadian soil, a Canadian star being born on Canadian soil. Victoria Mboko came out of nowhere for those of us who weren't paying attention, and went from somewhere in the hundreds in terms of her world ranking into the top 30, but 24 into the top 30. By winning the National Bank Open in Montreal, setting herself up for what we hope is a Cinderella run at the U.S. Open, which is just a few weeks away. And this was so exciting for all of us. Couldn't get much better than that. Well, from that, we take a definite U-turn into the mired and tired politics of the Middle East, where we just can't have nice things anymore, because the Davis Cup is scheduled for September 12th to the 13th in Halifax. And Team Canada will be playing, wait for it, Israel. Well, that is just a bridge too far for a certain type of person. And they are demanding that Canada refuse to play Israel because of their supposed genocide in Gaza. No tennis for genocide. No to the Canada-Israel Davis Cup match in Halifax. And you've got people like Naomi Klein and Avi Lewis who've signed a petition demanding that, and comparing this to South Africa. South Africa was banned because it was an apartheid state. And much like South Africa, we need to treat Israel the same way. Never mind the fact that there is an Arab on the Supreme Court. Never mind the fact that Arabs are full participants in life in Israel with the exact same rights as anybody else. But sure, let's continue with the fiction that this is an apartheid state. Whatever, man. Whatever. Yeah, you want to live in a world where they are the big, bad, evil, terrible state in the Middle East? Go ahead, man. Go ahead. It's not true. It's not true, but go ahead. Sign your petition. But this is why we can't have nice things. We can't. This is a great opportunity for Canada to build on what we all hope is a great moment for Canadian tennis at the U.S. Open into the Davis Cup. But sure, let's make it about the Middle East, because it always has to be about dehumanizing the people of Israel. No matter where you give them no quarter, and I'll congratulate you for that. You have a single-minded focus, a single-minded obsession with the state of Israel, as if they are the cause of every problem in the world. And you won't stop. I know you won't. But so this open letter was signed by 400, surprise, surprise, academics, activists, apparently some athletes, and some writers, right? Sure. Because I bet up until this day, these academics, activists, and writers were really, really big Davis Cup watchers. Yeah, signatories include Naomi Klein, Avi Lewis, and former UN special rapporteurs. Oh, yes, because the UN has really acquitted itself as a voice of reason throughout the entire war in Gaza. And they argue that you can't separate politics from sport. And they want cities to sanction Israeli officials. Of course they do. And they accuse Israel of genocide. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The official response is that International Tennis Federation, Israel has not been banned from the global sport. The match will proceed and safety is a priority. Supporters of the match, you've got David Cooper from the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. He calls the signatories to the letter a small mob of extremists. And they say canceling it would hurt Canada's reputation and sports integrity. And yeah, I don't know what their numbers are, but it feels to me like they do not represent the majority of Canadians. They don't represent the majority of sports fans. And they certainly don't represent the majority of people living in reality who know full well that what's happening in Israel is not analogous to anything else in the world, let alone South Africa back in the day.
The war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one.
So, look, a lot of people have been giving a bad name to Mark Carney for not being in Washington when the European leaders of NATO sat down with Vladimir Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, and the president Trump at the White House to discuss the existential threat of that war in real time. Our prime minister, multilateralist, believes in NATO, believes in an end to the war in Ukraine, stands firmly on the side of the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian government against Vladimir Putin. I'm not going to complain that he's not there. If he is a multilateralist, which he is, then he puts faith in the people representing NATO who are there. And the existential threat to Canada right now is the economic threat that we have and the issues around the Air Canada strike that we're going to have negative knock-on effects. It was more important for him to be here. I am not going to complain that he wasn't there. If he believes in NATO, there were enough people there supporting NATO. He didn't need to be there. So you're not going to hear me attack the prime minister for not being there. But this summit went surprisingly well for a number of reasons. You'll remember also on Friday, the president was in Alaska meeting with Putin. He got a lot of criticism for that. But then the fact is he turned around and had a similar meeting bolstered by our European allies who were in attendance. I believe that it was either the NATO leader or the president of Finland who said that more has been done in the past few weeks to stop this war than in the previous 3.5 years. Huh? Oh, it was the president of Finland. So kudos to him. And so congratulations. And Donald Trump also said, I thought I could solve this in a few days. It's far more complex than that. That's the closest you'll ever hear Donald Trump saying he was wrong. But that's him being smacked in the face by reality, realizing that this is going to be a very heavy lift and it's going to require a lot of attention by a lot of people. I think he's taking it very seriously. And it looks like the people around that table believe he is too. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.